Okay, Mr. P. The interesting thing is, I quite remember that you were sued in the U.S. sometime in 2021.
Yes.
And that actually caused my clients to begin inquiring about possibly if if there was anything out there, whether it will be actionable in the U.S. So you have some significance to today's events. So shortly after, when you were going through your motion to dismiss, we actually took a keen interest in that case and reviewed all the pleadings. And during that time also, my client informed me of a video that was circulating on social media.
Pro trends on Pro Television and Oshay. Story Kevin Taylor any lawyer near Oka Anas team no ho na omuko jiremu e defende Anas ewo court no owo nchiremu Kevin Taylor any lawyer ni na twetwe nkomo nti meme ha me ho nkasa beboe na mamema wo sam small eyine hu de yebeka. Story meaning say on social media people are saying say Anas a winning a court case via or they call court New Jersey court na enipa a judge for 8 na so omabu asem no e de ama Anas na wokaya 28 October 2018 Anas a documentary BBC documentary na o kire se efa sa GFA nsensemi ehun okaya Honorable Kennedy Japan former member of parliament Edema Asin Central also babaye who watches the watchman any okekan sem bebre jigu Anas mufia na Anas ehun ni se enkoyie isanse ne brand ne so enya Ghana nko a enya Africa nko a the whole world baby Anas we could be microphone no intisa who watches the watchman na Honorable Kennedy Japan ye egu ne ho fi nti Anas ye no si dabi e de be court no time asem no de court e wo New Jersey ene ye da sorry ya asem no ye se o ma di awie no mo di wie no judgment aba ene nam from am say judge a judge 8 na asem no so no omo nyina aka asem no e de ama eye Anas omo kama ni wie ni ye se ye de Honorable Kennedy Japan entua eye $18 million no kura wo mu no se dem di kaka no Kevin Taylor of Loud Silence TV any lawyer ni bakwa oka Anas team no ho omone no eye den etwetwe enkomo.
Okay, Mr. P. The interesting thing is, I quite remember that you were sued in the U.S. sometime in 2021.
Yes.
And that actually caused my clients to begin inquiring about possibly if there was anything out there, whether it will be actionable in the U.S. So you have some significance to today's events. So shortly after, when you were going through your motion to dismiss, we actually took a keen interest in that case and reviewed all the pleadings. And during that time also, my client informed me of a video that was circulating on social media. I just say, "Yeah, papa, no, and someone just like what kind of about my client." So, like, as the intellectuals that we are, we started opening the books and try to see where we can lay a claim. interesting enough for me after reviewing the video. In our training, there's something that we are taught. So, in your case, be a case. Case, it has to pass the test, and the case has to stand on all fours, which means that you do an analysis of whether there's jurisdiction in place, whether you have all the elements of each claim that you want to bring. So we went through all of that, and my conclusion was yes, on the basis of video now. My client is send them you tweet back court New Jersey say papa no video no so papa na nenu nsam kire say o kase fi ni fie New Jersey na unim say ye krom for so no the diaspora is very important obviously what you do is testament to that fact. And there was an audience that he spoke to Ghana for. They all take a keen interest in the happenings in Ghana, especially the politics in Ghana. So we thought, there was solid grounds for us to be in the court in New Jersey. So I advised my clients accordingly. Now, when you say a lawyer, so obviously he was an integral part of what was going on in the preparatory stage. At that time, I am a U.S. trained lawyer, but I currently only practice in Ghana. And there was a team of us. I'd like to say congratulations to my learned colleague Odette Crow. He was a part of yes, he was counsel of record in Ghana. So I put him into the research, and we drafted a complaint. And like Mikhail a lawyer, so we did the work, and he actually filed it himself. So after the preliminary back and forth, initially the case was we sued in 2022.
Okay. Yes.
We filed suit sometime, I think.
The complaint.
Yeah, sometime I think in the summer of 2022.
May 17th, 2022.
Yes. And by law, there was a period by which Yapapano Anka was responding with what is known as an answer. But so Yapapano filed a response, and my case no call into default. Now, after a period of default, you can actually go for judgment. Now, a case near Fale, we filed on 3 counts. But I couldn't say a chrome 4. The second one was we did in terms of behind the medal of Yunya Ahmed Swale.
Yeah.
Now the third one so say a serial killer in terms of Chinese for Ghana. And then the fourth one is a criminal, the blanket word criminal. And then the fifth one by implication behind would the same be that means say no trigger man and also will be say perform the physical act that led to the foreseeable events, which is obi so we also included a count that he is that he claims that my client a co-conspirator in multiple serial killings. So that was basically the gravamen of our complaint. And when it went undefended after the response time now, we began to make preparations to move for judgment. But being that I was in Ghana and we are all based in Ghana, we reached within our network and we partnered with 2 brilliant lawyers who I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate. Okay. Atawemega Esquire, he was the father figure of the team of lawyers, and a brilliant trial lawyer by the name of Andrew Dehere. These are all brilliant Ghanaian lawyers on this case. And at that point, we recruited them as counsel of record. And the case went at that point. Kennedy's lawyers came in, obviously because near Beji judgment for the full $30 million. And so he had counsel, and counsel came and also did his thing. Reopen default. They argued that they had a solid defense. And I think right around then, and I almost got judgments from Ghana, almost really see it. And I don't know, so say almost defense to a case I follow New Jersey.
We need Ghana, so case no
exactly.
In terms of no buy almost case. Okay.
So as defense against, but the interesting thing is that defamation is say can mark there the work of court. It's a separate case.
Yeah.
It don't mean to Ghana and be defending we. You still have to prove the truth of it. And this time, in this jurisdiction, the law is the same essentially because Ghana but you also free other countries. There are certain times that even though any of presidential value, I just said, dead into me so India, but to me the two senior especially in cases maybe you decided that type of a case. And Emrano is the same as Ghana. Procedurally, there are certain nuances. Sometimes in terms of certain dates, you have to do certain things by. And also in New Jersey, Emrano drafted complaints. We were fully aware that we were required to prove what we were claiming by a higher standard than in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yes. In this case, not even that. In this case, we were required to prove our case not by the normal civil standard, but by a clear and convincing evidence standard.
Okay.
And they responded with that, and they were able to successfully reopen the default, which paved way for them to file an answer. And they filed an answer which essentially claimed that there was some sort of back and forth between him and Anas. And we took it for what it's worth, and we forged on. And we finally got our trial date sometime earlier this year, and it was postponed. And then we finally went to trial last Monday. We started trial on Monday, and we put up our case. My client testified. He testified. He brought other witnesses, and after listening to both sides. Senior answer na ever try case the difference between what happened with Ghana and see Johannes said trial by jury judge or judge back one I say judge me no I say judge me and send a big but normal people on the streets of New Jersey, tax-paying citizens, and in this case we started off with veneer. That's the technical word for when the prospective jurors are brought in, we are from a veneer. The veneer of 60 citizens, tax-paying citizens of the state of New Jersey, specifically Newark, New Jersey, and its surroundings, were brought in, and after what is known as Boadaya, which is the process by which they are questioned to see if they have any sort of bias or anything that will stand
for Ghana for your vetiomo. Say
vertium just say obi nim asem no bi anaso onimu bi asem we fan ho anase obi wo hwa bia nyame bi osom no so we went through all of that. That was day one. That took from area to the end of the day. And so on Tuesday we came to court and we had our opening statements. They had their opening statements. And then we proceeded to put on our evidence. And at the close of the evidence, the jury was instructed, judge, in this case, judge, Emrano. Na Omodiama, jury, no church king first. People inside. Aquaco decide the different deliberations. But okay. And there are some more about Thursday about 4:30. Yeah, the church room running now, and there are some more 4:30. Into now, I just say we be an 4:30. Court right around that time, which is I believe consistent with the practice I know it's consistent with the practice in Ghana. I just so take a deep breath and reflect on what has transpired during the past 4 days. And about 20 minutes later, we got word that the jury, so as part of the defense, I think it's only fair that Meka charges counts now the buy and the civil claims now the buy.
The defense.
His defense was also although Oka said Nakwe said it was some sort of just based banter between him and Uniano. He came to court and accepted truth as his defense. And so
time I court to say sa counting na mode bono no say on it and us back and forth, right? The only claim of making or say banter. I just say we can't wait and share or no, they're not all can you say obi to be more almost tomorrow.
But oh, you do court me there. That was not.
And your son of Hokai, Ura court no G2.
Yeah, be or maintaining the position say no can or the standing by no kind.
Okay.
Basically, remember just of Pakistan no crane di no onyebo ni bia.
Okay.
So to support that, no, or the move you try your internet to who watches a watchman. But the announced by as only defense, and so the jury had the opportunity to evaluate that and factored that in the analysis. And obviously, it was not the weight that they wanted the jury to accord to it. So jury never bugui. And about 20 minutes later, the jury came back with a verdict, and there were the multiplicity of very quick. And there was a multiplicity of questions that were posed to the jury. That's the way how they arrived at the decision. It's and also unanimous. People who were picked off the streets of not picked off the streets of New Jersey, but they're to from based on address, voter registration data. And to but within 20 minutes, they saw through everything and said no. So they came back and there was not even one juror that sided with Yapapana Samuel.
All against
8-0 on every count and on every question that was posed to the jury, including damages now about no be doing and also crown there was a unanimous decision. I just say it was a solid decision of the jury. 20 minutes on there was no doubt in our presentation to what you kind of lay people. These are not experts in the law.
Yeah, they are just
these are lay
people who just sat and used their common sense to come to a conclusion.
No. I would not say use that. I would not say use that common sense.
Listen to you and they listen to the other part. It makes sense though.
And then the law is the law. No judge in this world has any power to bend the law. That sort of conduct is what causes strife and war in places.
Yeah.
America had the judge actually before the judge ever kind jury instruction, the catch jurors say, oh no, only to be it's asking na you don't crowd between say of a camera actual match and that's how it went. But what's interesting about Nisi and or a lawyer contrary, even though people don't give him credit for that.
At least Bonidina Anas asem na working.
But Anas, Anas. Or also a very astute lawyer new beer dreamer. And and some people walk cry a car on Jim but sometimes a team of legal team to we come to a compromise. Now he has been adamant about clearing his name because I have a personal experience of understanding. It's one of the worst things that can happen to someone.
Yeah.
And he absolutely took the position that he wanted a trial. He's not interested in any settlement. He's not here for the money. He's here to clear his good name that he has built over time. And in his profession, at this time, and also started doing anything. So he always maintained that he wanted a trial to the point where sometimes there was a disagreement in the legal team. Now, procedurally, when say America, the peace. Said that schedule say, and from this time to this time, can you support to staff that work out to we're dedicating it to your case. It's no small matter.
I know. I've been there. It's not easy.
Before they will go to trial, there's mandatory settlement conference. I better say at this maybe by this time no will be say ya grow no or commit to the right senses and decide say this shouldn't go on because yes. And I acquire no unfortunately me and Anas disagreed with me, but I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million. Just like the jury came back. As you know, in these days, we have all kind of tools that we can use to predict certain things.
Before you go ahead, this is where the contention is, and people saying 80 million, others saying a year 30 million. Now, when you read...
Well, we'll come to that. Let me clarify. Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Okay. Complaints there, the coin. Yeah, claim for $30 million. $30 million.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And what I'm saying is that at the before the mandatory settlement conference, or before the jury is empaneled, even though my client had firmly informed me he had no intention of settling this case because he believes that he ought to go to a jury of his peers to clear his name. But let's just prepare our settlement memorandum, be thorough and be reasonable.
Yeah.
And even though he protested, I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million US. Okay. Now you do settlement conference, you papa about court. Now the lawyers just say what he was willing to settle this matter for, and they said $10,000. So honestly,
it's clarification is very, very important. Normally Ghana.
Okay.
Into Mukodru Hono, Anas initially, ne kind of simple street language, and the damages are not paid around $30 million. And our client and Anas Kasa say a woman saw $30 million, and yes, he can't all pay. In fact, he wants his name to be cleared, and then the priority of going to court.
Yes.
But because of the experience, now unim sibi anyo matiano, uno client here Anas Kasa and say it would be better and to be reasonable to at least settle on $80 million. And I'll say, Okra no client Anas no, you did not really agree, but because he respects you as his counsel, Anas and a lawyer, no, you people ended up around that money, around that figure, which is $80 million.
Oh yeah, like I said, your lawyer at New York.
Oh, yeah.
And also come home. Andrew D here.
Yeah, you are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. When a guy is there,
yes,
D here is there, Crow is there, yourself. Basically, as we are speaking to you, we are speaking to all of them because.
Yes. So, the whole team agreed on that, but he was the only reluctant one in settling the matter. But procedurally, we couldn't go to trial without actually going through to the settlement conference.
Yes.
In spite of his reservations, we still almost cut our demand down to about a little over half.
Okay.
But to our surprise, $10,000 to end the case.
No.
I betrayed an who said no. Some way I'm sure so I can be personal. So he said basically go and take your gamble in the courtroom. So that's how we ended up going to trial. So to go back to how it ended. So at about 4:50 on Thursday. And the jury brought us in and they told us unanimously what they had arrived at. But, we decided to keep it under wraps because, there was a component, you multiply that 18 million by 5, money do 90 million. For a total of about...
That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah. Because
to do that. Okay.
Yes. And then you decided to say but we are with coming public with the finding of culpability on Thursday.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving that alone. A pursuit of ×5 because almost file motions be just say or see a two in terms of that and say one way or another I could pursue that ×5 and I say depending on what happens, maybe I bet me German cafe. At this time, almost my court no say almost busa into so.
Okay. So at this point, my court who say ombeba 80 million or almost pentiswo. How many days do they have to file that?
Okay. So at this point, the next thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a paper, a judgment. I just say court reading seal better so.
Yeah.
That will take a few days, and then after that, I believe there's a 5-day rule that's within which you can file that motion. So a baby motion, matese binu kasa appeal by nya appeal nyendi. Depending on how that motion goes,
okay,
we will get a chance. We may get a chance to attempt to get our ×5 of that 18 million, or a big jam and. So depending on how that motion goes,
So for now,
yes.
example, 18, Obintiminka said that is the end of the case. It depends.
No, it's not because hypothetically, so much to grab back 10, we still have the opportunity to go for ×5.
That is 50. Okay.
Yeah, and so we call extra 50 plus. Yeah, hypothetically, so much to back 10, we can go for another ×5.
You as a Ghanaian and also a lawyer and defending a fellow lawyer who is a journalist. This has been an experience. Do you want to share something with us when it comes to these kind of defamations and how comparing our judicial system back home and in the States? I'm not forcing you to condemn any, but I'm trying to find out from you. There are so many people in Ghana, they don't really understand how the American judiciary works because we are so used to the Ghana style of judiciary whereby things go a certain way. And I would say sometimes very, very slow. And sometimes you need to know something for even things to move the pace you want. In terms of how this case, how fluid it went, and comparing it to back home. I'm saying back home because I am more concerned back home, and especially when Kennedy presented a case which is the same defamation case, and he tried to use that as a basis that what he did was right. From your experience as a professional, what have you I don't want to say what have you learned. What have you do you want to share something with us before you go?
Yeah. Me share all the young people in Ghana, me show them crying say
yeah.
The country is a young country. So I tend not to criticize too strongly.
Yeah.
But Oman and young people need to take their rightful position in the country because my only thing is that young people see that is wrong or they know it's wrong, they need to stand up for their rights. The country is still young, so I would not be pointing any fingers at anybody. But we do my American school from high school. I lawyer, and I know America very well. And for the past 7 years, I was licensed in Ghana in 2014, and I've been practicing actively for the last 7 years in Ghana. See, I know the problems that we face. I think it's a systemic problem that allows people to hide in there to sort of engage in certain conduct because democracy say the system, justice system if it does not guarantee justice, and then one day there's going to be a problem. And I like to direct my comments to all young politicians, those who have entered the fray, about 40 and less. Let's not, if we see things that are not right, let's not say because you benefited from it because your party we want to say party we we're going to condone it. We all need to make sure that we are contributing to building a Ghana that we can all live in. And I would like to end on that. The system is not perfect. There are many things that we can do to also improve it. I will not talk about the substance of some of the things, but I also think the judiciary in Ghana is burdened with a lot of work. there are certain things that exist here in the US that they don't have that perhaps need to be implemented. Some of these judges in this country, in the US, are ably assisted by law clerks who help them lessen their burden. But like I said, the young people in Ghana, we need to look at ourselves, because I've had judges tell me, say, I've suggested that, and I've had judges tell me, say, oh no, if a young person cry, but an office on your we want to say, leaky judgment at this car before the judgment is granted. So I will not be pointing fingers at, what happened in Ghana was a travesty of justice. I'll say that without mincing words.
The defamation, now Kennedy Winnie.
Absolutely, because I'm now a solid, which back to the member can say. Before a court can pronounce someone as a criminal, there ought to be a due process ought to be followed. And I have a publication that is going to come out on this subject in a very near future. For the courts to have called my client a criminal without giving him a criminal trial was a travesty of justice. And the court in New Jersey rightfully classified that as obiter is dicta. It can never be a criminal conviction.
So that was how the court in New Jersey, the Superior Court in New Jersey, actually addressed that particular.
Yes, because the will be criminal act. Will be criminal act. You can bring proof to say the person has been adjudged to be a criminal. You understand? So the Ghana judgment by court jurors when we brought a police clearance certificate at CID headquarters through the proper normal channels, we got it. It was sealed before we brought it to court, and that was giving more credence than what the judge said about Anas being a criminal, because that is the right thing.
How do you feel as a Ghanaian lawyer, a young Ghanaian lawyer standing before a U.S. judge, making a statement like this from a court in Ghana? I feel it's quite embarrassing.
Like I said, our country is growing. We are the U.S. is 200 and something years old. We are 60 something years old. So I like to always look at things from an optimistic standpoint. I hope that this is going to be a lesson, because Ghana is not Ghana. Just by dint of even some of your papa no cry amount for in Ghana. Ufa Uber Kumwa. I remember say in the middle of the trial, Uber Bia driver and I catch him say, I'm moving Ghana tourism country. Mano is young, but it's a country that we all need to protect and we need to guard zealously. And that starts from the delivery of justice, because no one should have to feel that they need to go outside the four corners of Ghana to get justice. Justice emanates from the people, and we have enough people in Ghana. About judges now, because I saw say recently, judges they are educating people about the jury system. As part of our civic responsibility, it will also go a long way, along with amending laws to allow more juror participation in different kinds of cases now.
Lawyer Evans Salasi Adeka, or some of the Esquire. So thank you very much, and I'll also say thank you to your colleagues that helped. In this case, Andrew De Gea, also Arthur Wemega Esquire, and Aday Crow. I would like to say I really appreciate your time. You've educated us and also made things very clear to Ghanaians.
I'd like to point something else. So there were a few things that I think I glossed over. I think I told you said the threshold that we had to meet in the US was much higher than in Ghana. And in that regard, one of the allegations that was made is that you are a serial killer in terms of multiple Chinese. What was appalling, and I say, video say proof. Say proof say I'll be dinner stand no say Chinese for no. video no it was an embarrassment because it do on some video be I mean say preko na you na mo ya hangi wo unu say umku aboa o hangi mamu dia no so ne no
yeah and no be sure say
me say me community na catch say no ana say but it was definitely what he said he was going to produce and I think that really disgusted the jury. Because and it's not something to accuse someone of likely.
Thank you very much for clarifying this. Ivan Selassie Adeka Esquire, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate every single minute you've shared with us here. At least, what I say we are to rest for now. From your explanation on that's a case we and there. The response from the defendant, Kennedy Japan, the lawyers, so we're waiting for them to also file what they have to file. Now, I share where it goes from where we are now.
Yeah, and just to clarify, any response, so Omono and Canada for times 5 for no.
Yeah.
Omo the Assembia attitude just say, yeah, no person more now for the sake of transparency, no be any time now, or yes, we be yano na almost them there, didn't better so. The master when you dance why we did not 18 na yeah decided say we have some decisions to make. What I say you become not appeal, but the thing is appeal no the difficulty is appeal no US no answer no be to me appeal no he needs to put the full $18 million down in a bond. Answer no to me file appeal no. And you know we I'm sure say depending on how that goes, we have the prerogative of deciding say we ever go for times 5 days on that 18 million if it stands, and I say almost so bad hypothetically instead even 10 and answer 12 krana will still decide say was up with a nice offer so we chase Canada what union I'm not saying because I told you union or no no so a lawyer we'll work on we'll entertain that and decide say okay young times 5 no and I say change now times 5 because there are certain other things that happen. There are certain things that also happen that will influence our decision one way or another.
Yeah. Lawyer, we will be on standby. And I know, sir,
okay,
we will come back for more clarification and education. We really appreciate you very much. Ivan Selassie Adeka Esquire, he has been our guest. He is one of the lawyers of Alnas Arim Yao Anas. I really want to say thank you very much to lawyer Ivan Selassie. The other lawyers or counsels that helped him, and I said, I'm about together as a team to make sure Anas has a solid or had a solid legal team backing him. No, Mr. Arthur Wemega Esquire, he was part of the council Anas lawyers. No, Andrew here is also part of Anas legal team. No, and Odei Crow was part, and as you know, lawyer Ivan Selassie Adeka on your screen, he was also part of Anas legal team. No.
You will be able to see them who you be a friend, right? Look at a video. Man who not grown you can meet yes, I was here. I do probably have a covered engagement. One mining in but they were who come not will be a big with their friend. Pro technology of the baby camera. Oh, the camera will go fear. Now, Konya Miani, now show phones to never move here. A pro. I make kind we pro Yanika pro. I appear. I'm YouTube so. Any woman to move, I don't know. Security fence one you draw there. What control one maybe not a situation who when this one. But I want one baba shama. One yard rough. Tell them the love woman. The lazy crab, and a young patron. To be a woof from away no money for me. Me, I'm not from woman. Oh, she not from problem. Right. Oh, yeah, you money, now we're near and one. What do you for 24 hours, 1 month for any. Or no better than. Are you serious? Serious,